You know that urge to tell a story? It's got to be one of the most human things about us. It's this thread that connects our most ancient past with our most cutting-edge, wild future. And today, we're going to follow that thread, all the way from prehistoric tar pits to these brand new real-time AI worlds.
So this sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, right? A mammoth, a movie, and an algorithm walk into a bar. But seriously, by the end of this, you're going to see how they're all part of the exact same story, our continuous, obsessive quest to capture and preserve reality itself.
So let's kick things off with a truly massive, fundamentally human ambition, the desire to capture everything. I mean, to tell the whole story of our world, from the very beginning to right now, and somehow make it all make sense.
And maybe the most heroic attempt at this ever came from these two historians, Will and Ariel Durant. I mean, get this. Between 1935 and 1975, they wrote an incredible 11-volume series called The Story of Civilization. Their goal was insane: to stitch everything together, politics, art, philosophy, religion, into one single coherent story. No shortcuts.
And this quote, it just hits the nail on the head for why people love their work so much. Think about it. The world was getting more and more complicated, breaking down into these tiny, specialized fields nobody could keep track of. And then the Durants come along and offer this complete picture. It gave readers this amazing sense of control, this feeling that the whole chaotic mess of humanity could actually be understood. Okay, so that's the big picture, right? The grand, sweeping history of everything. But what happens when that ambition to tell a story gets smaller, more personal? What happens when it shifts from the epic to the really specific?
Well, this next story, it doesn't start with, huge philosophical movements or ancient empires.
Nope, it doesn't even start with the Big Bang.
It begins right here, in the La Brea tar pits. This is a place where history isn't just written down in books, it is literally trapped in asphalt. It's a primordial world just stuck right in the middle of a modern city.
Just think about how this place actually works for a second. Some poor mammoth gets stuck in this super sticky asphalt, it starts freaking out, which attracts saber-toothed cats and dire wolves who are thinking, hey, easy meal, but then they get stuck too. It's like nature's perfect, brutal archivist, preserving this perfect, brutal snapshot of life in the Ice Age.
So, this primordial stage, it is the perfect backdrop for our next storyteller, a little-known, super high-anxiety film from 1988.
So the movie Miracle Mile kicks off right where we are, at the La Brea tar pits. And at first, it's just this classic, sweet meet-cute. A guy and a girl fall in love among the fossils of ancient monsters. But this love story is about to take one of the wildest, most jarring turns in movie history.
And this is where the movie's genius really kicks in. It all happens in punishing real time. Harry just randomly answers a ringing payphone, and he gets this terrifying, world-ending warning. And from that second on, the quirky romance is just gone. It's replaced by this nail-biting, apocalyptic thriller, literally counting down the last 70 minutes of human existence. And then, in the movie's absolutely gut-wrenching final moments, Harry and Julie's helicopter crashes right back into the tar pits. As they sink, just like those mammoths, Harry says this line: "The same tar that preserves the ancient past now preserves their story, turning their tragic end into a future fossil. It's a fixed, unchangeable narrative, sealed forever." Okay, so that's a fixed story, right? Preserved forever. But what if a story wasn't fixed? What if you could actually change the narrative while it was happening? And this, my friends, brings us to the storytellers of today. That question, it is not a what if anymore. This is where AI just crashes into the party, basically taking that 70-minute real-time countdown from Miracle Mile and putting the remote control right into your hands. This is where new AI models like Pixar 1 come in. And you shouldn't think of it like a tool that makes a finished movie. It's more like an engine that builds a world. Instead of making a little clip and stopping, it generates a continuous live video stream. The world just keeps going. And you, the user, can jump in at any second with a text prompt and just steer the story wherever you want it to go. And the process itself is, honestly, it's deceptively simple. You pick a scene, or make your own, the AI brings it to life as a looping video, and then you just start typing. Make the man walk to the left. Have a car drive by. You become the director, the writer, and the audience, all at the same time, shaping the story frame by frame. So,
What happens when you hand this kind of power over to, well, everyone? Well, as you can probably guess, it gets a little weird. It gets chaotic. And frankly, it gets pretty hilarious. Okay, so right now, the tech is still a little, let's call it janky. You ask for an epic, world-ending avalanche, and the AI kind of goes, best I can do is a comically large snowball. It doesn't always listen perfectly. But you know what? That unpredictability is half the fun.
And then, when you turn on the AI's dramatic mode, oh boy, things go completely off the rails. A simple scene, a guy buys a hot dog. The AI, unprompted, decides the hot dog seller is now his partner in crime. Then a tornado appears. Then masked hitmen show up. Then Godzilla arrives. And it all ends with a random motorcycle escape. It's just emergent, totally unhinged creativity.
But here's the thing that's really going to blow your mind. The speed of all this. I mean, just a couple of years ago, we all remember AI video was famous for those bizarre looping memes like Will Smith eating spaghetti. Now, we have interactive real-time worlds we can direct. That leap is just enormous. And it makes you wonder, what are the next 2 years going to look like?
And that, right there, brings us completely full circle back to this idea of preservation. The tar pit preserves the physical past. The film preserves a fixed, unchangeable story. But these new AI models, they're doing something totally different. They preserve our imagination as it happens. They capture every single bizarre, fleeting idea and turn it into a temporary, moldable reality.
So that's where we land, with this big question. From the fossil record, to the film reel, to the algorithm, we'd always been looking for new ways to tell our story. But as these tools become infinitely powerful and available to anyone, we have to ask, what does it even mean to be a storyteller when anyone can create their own history, their own movie, their own world? What happens to the shared story then?